All morning, we've been discussing whether or not you would or would not vote for Brexit if you were given the opportunity again.
And that's because today the Sunday Times have led with the story that government ministers are figuring out plans to have Swiss-style ties with Brussels, an unwelcome move for Brexiteers.
Now, we've been running a poll, and we do have to say that actually Number 10 have said that that is not what is happening.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, we've run a poll on our Twitter site so far. Almost 19,000 people have had their say, and the outcome is 45% are pro-Brexit, with 55% against it.
Yeah, so...
Tell us what... I mean, you've got all the details.
So
you've been watching them all morning.
Yeah, so basically what happened here is it's been really fascinating. So earlier on, it was massively pro-Brexit, and then Remain Twitter woke up, which is great. It's had massive engagement. And it's 55% against Brexit. So this is a reversal. Twitter polls are really interesting things. They really engage everybody. And ostensibly, it's just a great thing to talk about. Anyway, let's...
So the headline is basically that GB viewers think...
that they'd like to change their minds.
They'd like to change their minds.
So anyway, let's speak to anti-Brexit supporter and political editor of the Sunday Mirror and the Sunday People, Nigel Lawson.
No, it's not. It's Nigel Nelson.
Nigel Nelson. Nigel Lawson.
Not Nigel Lawson. Goodness, he'd have
all over the shop after this result, mate.
And joining him from their shared home, albeit in another room, is the former Conservative advisor Claire Purcell, who is pro-Brexit, which explains why they're in two different rooms. OK, you guys, first of all, I'm going to come to you, Claire. It looks as if, as far as our poll is concerned, you lost.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I think Martin's right. I think that Remain Twitter get up later than pro-Brexit Twitter. 19,000 people. It's an enormous poll for this time in the morning on a Sunday, and it is very, very interesting. I do wonder if you extrapolate that out across the country, whether you would get that result. The people that I've spoken to who are the same as me, who voted for Brexit and wanted that to go through, are still of that mind. I don't think that the majority would change their minds. There seems to be nothing else on offer from the Remain camp, only a lot more project fear, which is what they're good at.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to extend congratulations to the Remainers who won this poll. I honestly would. You know, well done. Nigel, what's your take? I'm not at all upset.
He's got his fingers crossed while he's saying it.
Well, I'm a bit surprised, actually, the way your poll is going. My view is that certainly I would be voting to Remain if I had the chance again. However, I do respect the fact that the nation voted to leave the EU. I accept that result, and that I lost that argument back in 2016. The problem since then, really, is just how to make Brexit work. And I would like to see Brexit work. So what the government seems to have done is played a kind of trick that cabinet ministers do every so often, and that is to float an idea to see how it plays. If there is a massive reaction against it, then they just pull out without leaving any fingerprints. If there's a positive reaction, they take it to the next stage and then claim the credit for it. Now, your poll would suggest that it's probably time to take this Swiss idea to the next stage.
Really? I mean, the interesting thing is, you see, Nigel, that, I mean, and he keeps chuckling here, but Martin really is absolutely... I'm amazed he hasn't put a black... Oh, he has got a black tie on, I was going to say. But I mean, the situation is that we've got a position now where we have to stay within the European Union, out of the European Union. And Number 10 Downing Street have said that actually this is not true, that they are not considering this. I mean, are they just flying kites, as you suggest, or are we having people that are just being, well, just wanting to cause trouble a bit from the back benches for Rishi Sunak and his Chancellor?
No, I think that this is actually flying a genuine kite, that I've been on the receiving end of things like this over the years. It's what governments do. They want to just see how the idea might play out there. And the real problem they've got at the moment is just how to solve the problem of Northern Ireland. No one's come up with a decent solution to that. Now, in the event that we were able to take the country effectively back into the single market, you would end the difficulties over Northern Ireland. No thought was put into what happens when we leave the EU, but share a part of the country, a land border, with it. So that's what I think lies behind this. No, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think the Tory party would wear it, but at least it's taken their mind off higher taxes.
Look, I've got to ask Claire, who's in a different room.
Yeah.
You are married to each other. You're sitting in separate rooms for our benefit today. But my goodness, when we come off air, you've got to go back together and have breakfast and live together for the rest of your lives. So how is this going to work out in the family?
Do you know, it is one of those issues which we have discussed endlessly. It is the gift that keeps on giving. And we can have a discussion. We disagree vehemently on Brexit, but it is very, very nice to hear Nigel say in public that he respects the decision made by the British public. We will continue to disagree with this. And the last thing that I want to see is a move back to any kind of closer ties and paying money into the EU budget. It was what I was fundamentally disagreeing with in the first place. But we can have these discussions, and it is very healthy to have them. We never fall out over it. And I think it's important that we don't go down a toxic route of discussing Brexit, but actually start to have these sensible, measured conversations. I think the country is kind of ready for that now, more than it's ever been. But you must respect the decisions made in 2016. And that's the one abiding rule that I have. We need to respect those 17 million people who voted to leave the European Union. You can't ignore that. And now we have to find out ways of making the Northern Ireland Protocol work without paving the way for further renewal of the European Court of Justice and paying into the EU budget. So I think that this is a good starting point. We won't disagree over toast and marmalade, but we will continue to debate.
Yeah, Claire and Nigel, good luck over your Brexit breakfast after this.